In Marvel Universe 616, Deadpool is in the middle of a job interview. For once, he's actually wearing a suit, though it does nothing to fix his big mouth.
What's your superpower? Is it parallel parking? I'm so sorry. That was cruel. I lash out when I'm nervous. Won't happen again.
And the one interviewing him turns out to be Happy Hogan, Tony Stark's longtime partner and chauffeur. Deadpool's goal is simple. He wants to join the Avengers. But having Happy run the interview already says a lot about how the Avengers feel about him. And of course, things go exactly as expected. Deadpool gets rejected. Again. He doesn't even get permission to step inside the Avengers building. Left with no choice, Deadpool returns to his own universe, Earth 1005. Even superheroes need to make a living, so he returns to using his real name, Wade. He puts on a wig and starts a brand new life as a used car salesman. But his friend Peter keeps Deadpool's red suit hanging in the closet, hoping he'll become a hero again. But Wade surprisingly insists he's done with all that. He's fine with the life he has now. After work, the two head home only to find the house packed and buzzing with noise. Blind Al, Negasonic, Yukio, and even Colossus, they're all there to celebrate Deadpool's birthday. And the most special person of all is here too, Vanessa. In the post-credit scene of Deadpool 2, Negasonic and Yukio managed to repair the time travel device. It allowed Deadpool to go back and pull Vanessa off the edge of death. He even saved several friends who died because of accidents. After all that timeline chaos, he went through another interview just to make it back to his proper timeline. But in this version of events, he and Vanessa have already broken up. They're just good friends now. And to make things worse, Vanessa seems to have someone new in her life. He tries to play it cool, but the look in his eyes gives him away. Still, it's the happiest birthday he's ever had. Everyone he loves is right here. A single small photo captures his whole world. But suddenly a squad of armed soldiers bursts through the door. Deadpool, confused, is just about to reason with them when someone attacks from behind and drags him through a glowing portal. When he wakes up, he's inside the Time Variance Authority, the TVA. The man in front of him is Paradox, whose job is to keep timelines stable. Deadpool assumes he's in trouble for saving people through time travel, but Paradox says he brought Deadpool here for something far more important. He leads him into the main control room and announces that Deadpool is the chosen one. The TVA needs him to save the sacred timeline, and here he can become a hero among heroes. Deep down, Deadpool never gave up on being a hero, so Paradox's offer resonates with him.
Excuse me, but she's gonna go. Suck it, Fox. I'm going to Disneyland. Get fucked!
The two immediately reach an agreement, and Deadpool gears up in his suit.
Fuck off! Adorn me, Beardo!
Just as Deadpool excitedly planned to show his friends the new gear, Paradox told him that his own universe was collapsing, all because of the death of Anchor Wolverine. It was a moment that left everyone with unresolved grief. This universe had thousands of years before its natural collapse, but Paradox planned to end it early using the Time Ripper. So Deadpool had only two options: join the sacred timeline and end his ordinary life, or return to his original universe, spend his final 72 hours with his friends, and perish with the world. But Deadpool chose a third option. He snatched the time travel device straight from Paradox. He raced to the place where Wolverine died, just to see if he was really gone. All he found was an adamantium skeleton. It confirmed Paradox wasn't lying. His universe really was doomed. Resigned, Deadpool sat beside the skeleton, chatting as if it were an old friend. After all, Wolverine's death was a pain he could never truly let go. Suddenly, TVA soldiers arrived, aiming to take Deadpool back. But Deadpool wasn't about to sit still. He charged out holding Wolverine's skeleton. A huge battle erupted, with Deadpool using the adamantium bones to unleash a one-man onslaught. His movements were relentless. The soldiers couldn't even get close and were sent crashing one by one. Getting carried away, he even whirled Wolverine's leg bone like a pair of nunchucks. With a few swings, all nearby soldiers were knocked out cold. Then he affixed Wolverine's three iconic claws to his own knuckles. Riding the momentum of his half-Wolverine vibe, his every strike went wild, each claw swing filled with Deadpool's signature madness and frenzy. When the last soldier fell, Deadpool finally looked serious and reached a conclusion. This Wolverine was clearly useless. He decided to find a new one as a replacement. So Deadpool began hopping across timelines to find a Wolverine. He first found a Wolverine in a bar, but sadly, the height wasn't right. Next came Old Man Logan, One-Eyed Logan, Apocalypse-era Wolverine, and even Wolverine nailed to a cross. None of them fit, until finally he found a reasonably normal Logan. Deadpool immediately told him that his world needed him and intended to take him along. But Wolverine was utterly confused and even flashed his claws at him. Deadpool didn't bother explaining. He just raised his gun at him. Wolverine shrugged and laughed it off, tilting his head back to keep drinking. The next second, he passed out drunk. Deadpool promptly dragged him back to the TVA, but Paradox said that not just anyone could be an anchor, especially not this one, who had just disappointed his universe to the extreme, the worst version of Wolverine. But Deadpool couldn't be bothered to argue with Paradox anymore. During the spat, he accidentally overheard a crucial piece of information. None of this was TVA's order. Paradox had acted on his own. Deadpool immediately turned to expose this to the TVA higher-ups. But before he could finish, Paradox's expression darkened. The next second, Paradox threw Deadpool into the void with his sanction staff, and Wolverine got thrown in alongside him. Wolverine, dragged into this mess for no reason, flew into a rage upon seeing Deadpool. He immediately swung at Deadpool, but Deadpool wasn't about to go down without a fight. They had a full-on fight, neither willing to back down. Just as Wolverine was about to strike Deadpool's head, Deadpool suddenly suggested another solution. If the TVA could end his universe, there had to be a way to change Wolverine's universe too. No matter what Wolverine had done before, it could be changed. Wolverine hesitated. This had always been a personal torment for him. Even if there was only a 1 in 10,000 chance, he wanted to try. As they spoke, a voice suddenly interrupted just as Deadpool was introducing him. The mysterious figure pointed elsewhere. A squad of wild vehicles reminiscent of Mad Max was speeding toward them. The mysterious person revealed himself. It was the captain. The vehicle squad surrounded the three of them. The attackers were Cassandra's henchmen, Pyro. He intended to capture them for Cassandra, but then the captain stepped forward.
Oh my god! Oh my god, he's gonna say it!
Ah,
Oh my god, he's gonna say it!
say what?
Avengers!
Flame on!
Sorry, what?
We don't know that guy.
We thought we did.
Sabretooth suddenly leapt out. He was Wolverine's brother. Just as they were about to clash, Wolverine decapitated Sabretooth with a single strike. Deadpool assumed Wolverine had won so easily that no one here could challenge them. But suddenly a giant magnet slammed down on them. And just like that, the three were captured. Only after Pyro's explanation did they realize they were in the void. Any superhero who violated temporal order would be thrown here. If they didn't join Cassandra, they'd be eliminated by Helios. However, there was a resistance here. If they wanted out, it was best to team up with them. As they talked, they came across a huge corpse of Ant-Man. As the head slowly opened, Cassandra emerged. She was Professor X's twin sister, but her powers far surpassed his. In an instant, she could reduce Pyro to a mere skeleton. Wolverine immediately lunged at Cassandra, but she controlled him with just a single finger. After subduing Wolverine, she teleported behind Deadpool and used her hand to read his memories. Ever since the Avengers rejected Deadpool, he had fallen into a deep slump, and that mood spilled over into his relationship with Vanessa, which led to their breakup. Deadpool was furious that Cassandra had invaded his memories without permission. Just as he was about to strike Cassandra, Wolverine suddenly impaled her from behind. But Cassandra remained completely calm, effortlessly deflecting both attacks. She then tried to throw them to Helios, and everyone instinctively stepped back. Wolverine seized the moment, triggered the mechanical legs from the ground, and took Deadpool away. They quickly landed on a mountaintop and prepared to search for the resistance. After all, they were the only ones who could help themselves now. As they walked, they saw Deadpool's dog, followed by a Nicepool. Nicepool advised them to steer clear of the Deadpool gang, as they would shred anyone and scatter the remains everywhere. Wolverine, however, simply stated he was heading straight for the resistance. Nicepool generously lent them a vehicle, and the two set off in a Honda Odyssey. Deadpool talked non-stop along the way, but this time he accidentally let something slip.
What did you say?
So when you get back, what's the first thing you're gonna do?
No, before that.
If they can fix your world?
What do you mean? If you lied to me, you don't have a fucking clue if they can help me fix things, do you?
Wolverine was furious. He had pinned his last hope on Deadpool. But now, it all seemed like a ridiculous joke. Deadpool had no choice either. He had no clue how to save the world. The only thing he could rely on was Wolverine's strength. Deadpool's world was just a small picture. Losing even a single part of it was unbearable for him.
You know what? You're a fucking joke. No wonder the Avengers didn't take you, or the X-Men, and they'll take fucking anyone. I mean, you are a ridiculous, immature, half-wit moron. You couldn't even save a relationship with a goddamn stripper!
I'm gonna fight you now.
The two started brawling in the car, but the pain of the blows couldn't match the torment in their hearts. It was impossible to tell whether they hated each other more or were just using the fight to vent their frustration at their own helplessness. They fought from day into night until utterly exhausted, finally falling asleep in the car. At that moment, a figure approached and took them away. When Deadpool woke, he saw several familiar yet strange faces: Elektra, Blade, and Gambit, and the fourth was X-23, the young Wolverine. Deadpool insisted that as long as everyone worked together, they could escape this cursed place. But Cassandra's powers were not to be underestimated. Unless they found Magneto's helmet to protect against her mind control, they stood no chance. But Magneto had already been killed by Cassandra, and his helmet had been melted down. Just as Deadpool was feeling hopeless, Elektra suggested there was another way. That was to get Red Hulk's helmet, which could also block mind control. With a target in mind, the group decided to move out. They were all tired of hiding, but Wolverine was indifferent. He had no intention of joining their plan. Meanwhile, Pyro contacted Paradox. It turned out he had been an undercover agent next to Cassandra all along. Paradox knew that if Deadpool and Cassandra joined forces, he would never be able to stop it. So he decided to have Pyro find an opportunity to kill Cassandra. Meanwhile, Wolverine was drinking alone when Laura approached. Although this Wolverine wasn't the one who had saved her before, she knew that all Wolverines shared similar personality traits. Through their conversation, Laura gradually understood the burdens he carried. On the day humans massacred mutants, he chose to go out drinking alone. When he stumbled home drunk, all that greeted him was a floor full of corpses. From that day on, his chest bore a scar that would never fully heal.
Hey, whoever you think I am, you got the wrong guy.
You were always the wrong guy.
The next day, the group drove toward Ant-Man's corpse. Last night's conversation didn't seem to ease Wolverine's mind. He still hadn't shown up. As they neared the giant hands, Blade immediately fired a rocket launcher at Ant-Man. Then Elektra hit the gas hard, and the group rushed into the base, ready for a head-on battle. Meanwhile, led by Red Hulk, the enemy forces quickly gathered to fight back. At that tense moment, the trunk of the car suddenly popped open. Wolverine slowly emerged, showing he had finally made his decision. A massive battle was about to erupt, and it was unclear who would strike first. Various superpowers erupted all at once. Energy blasts, metal clashes, gunfire, and roars collided in chaos. It was like a cruel, chaotic symphony suddenly playing throughout the base. But it wasn't entirely random. They had already divided their roles. Deadpool and Wolverine charged straight to the heart of it, their sole target, Cassandra. As for the swarming grunts, the remaining four would hold them off. Unlike the chaos outside, Cassandra calmly sipped her tea. In an instant, she knocked Deadpool flying, and then pinned Wolverine firmly in place. Cassandra was highly interested in the only Wolverine in this void. She then slipped her fingers into his mind, intending to probe his past. There, she saw a vulnerable Wolverine, one who had always tried to escape his past. Cassandra seized the moment, planning to manipulate him into serving her. Meanwhile, Laura also successfully defeated Red Hulk, and as she climbed to a higher spot with the helmet, below, Lingdy whipped Laura with a long chain, sending her tumbling down. As she fell, she tossed the package containing the helmet back up. Just as Cassandra thought she had successfully manipulated Wolverine, a sudden look of pain crossed her face. It turned out Deadpool had taken the opportunity to place the helmet on her head. With her mental powers blocked, Cassandra couldn't send them home. But if the helmet came off, Cassandra would surely kill them. As they were caught in this dilemma, Pyro suddenly ambushed Cassandra from behind. Clearly, he was there to carry out Paradox's orders and had no time for their chatter. Enraged, Wolverine punched Pyro unconscious to the ground. Seeing Cassandra on the brink of death, Wolverine couldn't bring himself to finish her off. Suddenly, Charles appeared in his mind. No matter how much he hated what she had done, Charles would never allow him to watch his sister die. Cassandra stared at Wolverine, stunned, as if seeing her brother through his eyes for the first time. As the helmet was removed, her wounds instantly healed, and Cassandra changed her mind. She pulled Doctor Strange's ring from her pocket and drew a Marvel fire ring in the void. With a mix of luck and skill, the two jumped into the fire ring just before being swallowed by Ilios, returning safely to the real world. But Pyro wasn't so lucky on the other side. Faced with Cassandra's threat, he revealed his deal with Paradox. So when Wolverine and Deadpool reached Paradox, another fire ring suddenly appeared out of thin air.
Paradox, we have a problem.
Paradox, you tried to kill me.
I literally have no idea.
You come for the king. You better kill the king. What's this? A time ripper.
Oh no, we're on it. We're gonna head down and dismantle that thing now.
I don't want to destroy it. I want to use it. Now shoo. Mummy and Daddy are having a conversation. Now, you're going to show me how to use this fancy gadget.
Under Cassandra's control, Paradox was forced to reveal all the information about the Time Ripper. Meanwhile, the fire circle on the ground didn't disappear. It kept growing larger. Deadpool dogs suddenly ran out, followed closely by Nicepool. Then, various new Deadpools appeared from the fire pit, all following Cassandra's orders. The female Deadpool leader wasted no time and pulled out a submachine gun to attack. Deadpool grabbed Nicepool to block the attacks, not realizing he couldn't regenerate. He was pummeled mercilessly, leaving Wolverine helpless to intervene. But Deadpool excitedly grabbed his golden Desert Eagle. At this point, a full-scale battle was inevitable. The two decided to take on the entire Deadpool gang head-on. Wolverine's movements remained sharp as he weaved through the Deadpools. In no time, he cleared all the Deadpools off the street. But the Deadpools all had regenerative powers, and soon they surrounded the duo again. Just then, a voice rang out. It was Peter, dressed in a Deadpool costume.
This Deadpool's with me.
That's fucking Peter!
Wait, you guys know Peter?
Are you kidding me? Every Deadpool has a Peter.
Peter's a goddamn legend in every Deadpool's world.
While the Deadpools were distracted by Peter, the two quickly slipped away to find Paradox. Meanwhile, Cassandra had reached the Time Ripper. With the Time Ripper's energy, she could end all the timelines. At the same time, the rapid collapse of the timelines caught the TVA leadership's attention. When Deadpool and Wolverine arrived, this was what they saw. Under Wolverine's threat, Paradox had no choice but to reveal the final solution. It turned out the Time Ripper was essentially a giant battery. If the matter and antimatter inside could be connected, the battery would short circuit, but the energy was so immense that anyone who tried to connect it would die. Yet upon hearing the cost, neither of them hesitated. Watching the timeline crumble, they rushed straight toward the core of the device. At the last second before stepping in, Wolverine stopped Deadpool. He knew both were willing to die for their world, but the difference was, Deadpool still had people waiting for him, while this version of Wolverine had nothing left.
Give me this.
I waited a long time for this team up. You know something? You're the best, Wolverine.
Say hi to your friends for me.
Just as Wolverine closed the door, Deadpool shoved him out.
Open the door!
I can't hear you over all the noble sacrifice!
Wait! You fucking idiot.
Sorry, I'm just stalling. I think I'm nervous about dying.
This should be me.
Say hi to my friends for me, Peanut.
Wait! You want to be an annoying prick? Do it this side! You're gonna die together, you dumb fuck!
Deadpool pulled the matter from the blue column, trying to connect both sides, but even at full force, Deadpool couldn't complete the circuit. It was an impossible task. Then suddenly, someone grabbed his hand at the critical moment. Wolverine had broken in. Together, they started fighting against Cassandra. Frenzied power tore deep rifts across their bodies, yet they never let go of each other's hands. They weren't protecting some grand ideal. Wolverine just didn't want to repeat past mistakes, and Deadpool was fighting for the few faces in his small world. For these two broken souls, they used their lives and will to hold everything back. This wasn't heroism, it was stubbornness, refusing to fall even after life had shattered them. After a massive explosion, the entire lab was reduced to rubble. At that moment, the TVA leadership finally arrived and immediately arrested Paradox. Paradox tried to argue that his people had saved the world, but Deadpool and Wolverine were alive. He had no room left to resist. The leaders then announced that Deadpool's world was regenerating after this upheaval. To show their gratitude, they promised to bring out X-23 and others from the void, and Wolverine's past needed no alteration. It was precisely his past that made him who he was today. After everything ended, the two sat by the roadside eating shawarma. At that moment, Deadpool dog ran over. It had no choice but to stay with Deadpool without Nicepool. Wolverine was also invited by Deadpool to stay in this world. Finally, Deadpool's little world was safe. The people he had fought so hard to protect were now right beside him, and most importantly, he and Vanessa were back together.
It turns out, I am the world-saving type. Just look around this table if you want proof. And the best part? Sometimes the people we save, well, they save us right back.